All right, we are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the DJ Life podcast with
That's
Erik
it. That
from
was it.
afar doing our. My volume's up. Erik is from afar on the Zoom, which people listening to the audio won't know a difference.
Cool. Perfect.
I'm actually behind on getting the audio updates. Someone mentioned that to me. I forgot about them. Need to get those audios. But anyways, we're joined today by the one and only karaoke master, Chad Blackburn.
What's going on, guys? Bow, bow, bow. There's your sound effects. Cool.
Perfect.
Chad, tell us about before we just get rolling. So we get a good idea. Tell us how you got into DJing and how you wound up where you're at today, and then you can just tell us all your shit.
All right. Well, I'll start in the beginning, and so it was back in 2010. I was doing marble, granite, travertine, like wholesale in a warehouse, and I'd gone out, started doing a karaoke night with some buddies, and my at that time, I guess it was a little bit before that with my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time. She was my girlfriend, and then fiance, and you know how that whole thing works. So we started going out. Somebody was like, "Hey, you got a good microphone voice, like do you think you want to come over and like host some karaoke for us?" And I was like, "Yeah, like use some extra money on the side. Why not? And I'd come out anyways." So that happened. Then I was very shortly later that didn't, they ended up the company ended up moving and yada yada. We decided to start our own company, me and a buddy, and I was more of just I had a bonus at the time, so I had some money, and he was more of the talent. He was a better host and knew what he was doing. So I bought the equipment. He was going to host, teach me how to host better. Things didn't work out. He ended up going his own way, and I was stuck with some equipment that I didn't know what to do with. And so I, instead of selling it off, I just decided to go at it and try to start hosting myself, and moved to San Diego, started pounding the pavement, and got a few spots in San Diego, and just kind of grew from there. Shortly after that, I was asked to DJ. They really liked my in-between music. I hate having like dead air. Like it always bothered me.
That's the biggest no. Right. Yeah. Exactly. No matter what. Yeah. Okay.
I hated it, man. So I always made sure as soon as the song ended, I did their outro. And as I was doing their outro, the filler music was coming up, and it just kept that energy going. And the bar loved it. They're like, every other karaoke person we've ever had has never done that. It's just dead air until the next air comes up. So they're like, well, if you can do that and keep the energy up on a Monday night, and you've turned this place into like a ghost town, or from a ghost town into what it is now, they're like, do you think you can come DJ for us on the weekend? And I said, sure, of course. Like, I didn't know how to DJ. I didn't know, but all I knew was if it meant keeping the energy up in the room, I can do that. Now, as far as mixing and blending, I had no idea. But they didn't seem concerned with that. So I said I could do it. The pay was really good. It added some extra nights in our rotation. So I took it on. And very quickly, I went from working, 3 nights a week to pretty much 7 nights a week. And other bars were approaching me, asking me if I can work at their venue also. And I was tapped out. I'm a loyal guy, so the bar that had given me this chance, I was obviously not just going to bail on them for the next thing. So my only option was to ask somebody else if they would work with me, hire you on and bring you on. And luckily, that guy was very likable. He had a ton of energy, like myself. We bounced off each other really well, and so that turned into us hiring somebody else, and we just naturally started growing. Our brand started growing.
What year was this that you started like expanding out like that?
It all happened pretty quickly. I moved to San Diego in 2010, so that's kind of where I even though I started before 2010, that's when my company started becoming, what it is in 2010. So this is all around like between 2010 and 2011. We grew really quick. In fact, the company that we were working with, they were asking me if I can fly to Colorado and set up the same kind of program we were doing in San Diego for their Colorado branch. And if I could go out to Tucson and do that for their Tucson branch. So I was going to Tucson, I was going to Colorado, I was hiring these hosts that can also DJ and providing them the music and providing them the kind of the format of what we were doing. And it was crazy because all of a sudden we had all these checks coming in the mail, like I couldn't keep track. Like I would go to the mailbox and it was like check, 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 check. And I was like, all right, cash it, cash. And we had all this money coming in, and then something really sucky happened. And that's, I got a call from the bar. Hey, your guy didn't show up in Tucson. So I call the guy, hey, nothing, no answer. No, can't find this guy. He disappeared. Took my equipment, took my money, my hard drives, like everything. Never heard from the guy again. So I got super worried. I didn't have myself like protected back then. There was nothing. So I went to the bar and I said, look, I don't know. I don't know how to handle this. I don't know this situation. So maybe I'll just stick with San Diego. Like let's I don't want to get more of my equipment stolen. And so we scaled back. We grew really fast. And I'm not afraid of growth normally, but that I was so new to being an entrepreneur that it shook me. So we scaled back and decided to build up San Diego. And this was around 2012. And all of a sudden we just started getting more and more spots, and we started marketing that. We always made sure we had a banner. We always made sure our logo was showing, and we got to the point where people started calling us. And it was great because every few months I would go down and pound the pavement and just go door to door. And I hated being I hated being one of those briefcase salesmen. Walk in with, "Hey, can I interest you in a karaoke night?" It's
right.
Something that had to happen. It had to be done, but I wasn't a fan of it. So it was nice when they started being like, "Hey, you're the karaoke guy," or "Hey, you can DJ," or this or that, and I was like, yeah, and I'm just one of those guys that I have a hard time saying no. So if it was something I think I could make happen, I would make it happen.
Yeah. Cool.
How big is your team now?
So right now we are sitting at about 18 of us. We have two different branches. We have a branch in San Diego, and then it spans to about 2 hours outside of San Diego, down to, it's called Redlands. It's more inland, and we do Redlands, Riverside. I call it our Riverside branch down there, and we have about 4 team members down there that are doing multiple gigs, and then we have the rest in San Diego.
Yeah, and you own all the gear, and it's just like employee type, filling the shoes and whatnot. See, that's so cool because you hear plenty of multi-ops. I'm a multi-op. He's a everyone's a fucking multi-op. But, and Rick has his side weird jobs that he does too. But it's like weddings on the weekend on Saturdays, period. Like your guys are doing, Monday through Friday, like weekday, right? Like, and staying super busy too.
Wednesdays are one of our busiest days right now. Like Wednesdays, I can't even keep up with. I just I can't hire people fast enough and train them to keep up with our Wednesday demand.
That's cool.
The midweek peak.
Yeah.
Hump day.
I always I have because I have a couple DJs and whatnot, and I can't remember who is the last person. It's been suggested to me before. I was like, oh, you guys should try and do what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like try and pick up some karaoke nights. And I'm like, dude, I don't know fucking anything about karaoke. Like, I'm not trying to undermine what y'all do. You know what I mean? Like, I remember in California when I met you, and you were doing at the house that night. What
Coachella?
Everyone's drinking, and you were doing Coachella. and you were doing karaoke, and it was seriously crazy because I've seen karaoke, and I'm like, okay, this is karaoke, that was just different. It was just different, and it like I was laughing and like, yeah, you're not gonna get me to sing because I'm just not that dude, but I definitely was like standing close by and like watching and like participating whether I was singing or not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
um it was just a different it was a true vibe created, which is definitely not some shit I've seen with karaoke before, so there's definitely a reason uh y'all have done what you've done, and they always say with multi-ops, like, oh, multi-ops only as good as the owner or whatever. I don't know if that's the exact, but basically like the brains behind the thing expands into the rest. And Rick, if you had seen it, you'd know what I was talking about. It was just fun. It was more fun. And yet again, I will be the first to say I'm not a karaoke fan.
I've seen the clips of what he does and everything, and it definitely looks different than any other karaoke I've seen.
Has no one ever suggested that to you ever, Rick?
Oh, trust me. Well, so we have karaoke through Ralph. The one DJ we got, Ralph. He does it during the week. It's like his own hustle. He does it at one of the bars, or like Lucky. I think it's Lucky 32 in Raleigh. He does their karaoke nights over there, and he DJs too. So if anybody like contacts us, like, oh, do you guys do karaoke? I'm like, I just need to hook you up with Ralph. He'll take care of you because I really don't want to get into it.
Yeah, I have 2 subs that do it, and I get hit up, but I'm just like,
I just pass it to them. I'm like, tell me how much you want me to charge them for you to do the karaoke.
Well, the attractive thing about it is weekday work, is steady weekday work. Because yes, I would like, if let's say we were awesome at it, whatever the hell, I still wouldn't replace weekends with it because we're doing the what we do right now, like all the weddings.
Mm-hmm.
But the other days, and it would just be more income, because the dudes, my full-time DJs, they just only work on the weekends, which I'm such a workaholic, I don't really understand that, but it's up to them. But it would keep them busy, but that's hard, like you said, door-to-door salesman type stuff. And I'm sure you don't do that anymore because it's like,
because now you're known.
Exponential growth, now you're out there and people are. I saw your post about Hooters taking advantage. Does that shit happen a lot?
It does, yeah. Believe it or not, and there is a spot that we're actually doing in Redlands for trivia that I agreed to do a free night just because the competitor in that area offers it for so cheap. I can't compete with it, but we offer such a better product. I went and saw the other guys and I was just like, man, we blow these guys out of the water. And I just want this venue to see the difference. I'm like,
right,
whether they only do one night or not, at least they'll get to see a superior product, I mean, like, when it's time to make that change, maybe they'll think of me. But this is the second time they tried to pull that on me. Like I said, years ago, they did that in San Diego. And I think the manager just liked karaoke. And so he's like, oh, cool. I could get a free karaoke night if I get this guy to come out. And then he just goes, so.
Yeah.
But we stick to, people know us now. Like our brand is pretty well built. People know what they're getting. So I have a pretty good, when people ask me for a discount or this or that, I'm just like, nah, we're busy enough. We don't need to do that. If you want it, try it, and if you like it, cool. If not, if it's not your thing, then we'll move on. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So like in a way, what would you say makes your karaoke different than your competitors? In general, people have seen karaoke everywhere. What makes yours different?
Well, see, I'm starting to see a lot of people start to transition. When I moved to San Diego, every karaoke place I went to, the DJ was sitting down. They had no energy. They were playing 80s videos in between, which is cool. I like 80s, but it just wasn't, there was no real quick volume up. It was like, okay, so-and-so's done. Thank you. And then they would start to bring, maybe bring some music in while the next person came up, if they were good. Some people just, like I said, didn't even play music in between. But if they were decent, but like I said, there was just no energy. You know, it was one of those monotone and
who wants to come up and play the next song?
Yeah. So I tell all my DJs, unless you're injured or something or have a broken foot or something like that, you know, like we stand, we smile, we you know, move to the song. Like I don't want to just see you standing there like this, you know, like that's just, it's just not our brand. And so that sets us apart, and just keeping the energy up. I train all my DJs to, you know, as one volume's going down, we use two different programs. So we use the older virtual DJ because it has a fade in and fade out. I know the new one does too, but it's a little bit more difficult to set the fade in and fade out. We have a smart fade on the old virtual DJ 7 that just works really well with karaoke.
For the video.
So even though I love the newer features in the newer virtual DJ or Serato, for karaoke purposes, we use the older virtual DJ and then our karaoke software, and we're able to balance the two at the same time to bring up the volumes. So there's never that dead air. There's never that awkwardness. Cool. And that just, it sets us apart.
Yeah. Because I get asked, oh, can you do karaoke? And I always just say, oh, we don't have the equipment, which is true, but I don't even know what that consists of, honestly. I've never done the research. I know it. I guess you need a TV. Like, what is the equipment that you need as opposed to a DJ controller and some speakers, you know?
Really, all you would need is a set of microphones and maybe a TV on a tripod. Mm-hmm. I don't like to use a controller, so I don't use a DJ controller when I'm doing karaoke. I have my music set up to where I can DJ, you know, I can bring up I can mix on my computer.
Right.
And
it goes through the playlist kind of thing, and you can readjust the songs in order you need to.
Yeah,
like virtual DJ. I actually did that at strip club DJing, but it's the same concept.
Yeah,
is that so cool? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so I can right click and mix in now, you know, and comes down as the next song's coming in, and to the average person, they're not going to know the difference. No. Now, if you have a DJ in the room, that's
it's not. You're not trying to beat match. It's not the same. Yeah. You're not. That's
it's a karaoke night.
Yeah, it's different.
Is there like a pool you go to get lyric videos and stuff like that?
Is there there's karaoke version, which pretty much has almost any karaoke song, and I buy them a la carte. So I don't buy the big packs of songs because I have so many, and when you do that, you start getting duplicates, and it just fills up your hard drive with unnecessary duplicates. So I'll buy them a la carte. You know, I always make sure I have internet on the spot. So I'm doing this Saturday, I'm doing a Spanish karaoke. I don't speak a lick of Spanish, and but I know I can get the songs. So what I'm going to do is make sure I have a hotspot. I have a translator with me, and basically whatever song they want, I can. If I don't have it, I'll download it on the spot and load it in, and this is a corporate event, so you know, make a lot more than I would in a bar.
Yeah, for sure. So and you could even try to do the Spanish songs, even though you can't speak Spanish at all. Just like straight stumbling through it. You're like, yo tango,
Nero.
I mostly asked that question because I figured that's kind of a professional thing that sets you apart. Because I don't know, I've been to a few bars that do the karaoke, and it's amazing how many times you see someone, they just look for the YouTube lyric video and pull it up, and it plays on the TV, and they're running an aux feed out to whatever garbage speaker system they have.
And I've seen that too. I actually had a bar switch from us. I won't work with this bar anymore in San Diego because they're just cheap as can be. And we built up their karaoke night, and then they decided to go with another company for $25, or I don't even know if they went. I just remember there was like a $25 difference. And this guy, I went over and I saw through the window, and he's literally pulling up YouTube video and just streaming it. He wasn't even like, I didn't have a YouTube downloader. Like, at least if I get a YouTube version, I'll get the karaoke version for one. I won't get the lyric version. I'll get the actual karaoke version if I'm going to rip it from, and I'll download it so it's physically on my computer, and then I'll play it through virtual DJ. That's only if I can't find the song. Like if I can't find a karaoke version and there is a version on YouTube, I'll get it for my customer because that's what I do. And there's a lot of people that'll rip on people that do that. But as long as you're not streaming it, I mean, I think,
you're making it happen.
But there's a lot of songs out there that people will go make and put on YouTube that you just can't find an actual version to. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, YouTube has saved me. I'm all about paying for my music, but YouTube has saved me for a few times because it's always one difficult customer that comes up and you're like, yeah, I have any song, and they come up and they pick the one song that you can't find, and I'm like, okay, at least YouTube has it.
You said karaoke software earlier. What is that? Are you talking about old virtual DJ or?
No, you can use virtual DJ. I started out using Karma. I was trained on Karma. That's the software I've always used. It's not always been my favorite because it's had its bugs. It's had its the owner of it is not the easiest when it comes to walking you through you know, how to fix issues.
Yeah.
But we've managed to make it work, and I'm used to it. I like the layout, and so that's what we use.
Well,
it's got a newer layout versus some of the other karaoke softwares I've seen.
I've never even seen karaoke software. I mean, I guess it's like a combination of like a mixer on your laptop for the music and then syncing the video to the screen, or?
Well, because karaoke files are MP3 plus G, so that they're in a zip file so that they play the video. It's a video file with an MP3 file, and it'll mash them together so that they link up. Now, you can drop that into Virtual DJ and it'll play it, but it didn't always used to do that. So like karaoke software, that's why people used it. And you can do other things. You know, you can change the pitch, you could change the key, you can put it on multiple screens. You know, if you have even though you can do that on Virtual DJ, they have like a third screen option. So if you wanted to see a certain thing, you wanted something to be on your TV, and then you wanted something else to be up on the venue TV.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Just little extra things that DJs might not need.
Little extra bonuses.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if I remember right, the way Virtual DJ worked, you like told it what video file to play for when you're playing the MP3 file. What I used to play with it back in the day. The video side of Virtual DJ,
like a video clip and a GIF, a GIF, whatever, onto the.
But if I remember right, doesn't it like link, like when you're playing a song, you can tell Virtual DJ when this song plays, play this other video or whatever. You can link the two, or does it play the audio from the video? I can't remember.
I think in the newer version, I don't know if you can in the older version. I don't know. I haven't really messed with.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, I've never really messed around with it too much, other than just using it what we use it for.
I remember when that was all the rage at high schools and everything to do the video mixing.
I love videos. I love having videos. I do. If I can do an event with a video, I just love it because most of the time people haven't seen the music video, and
that's actually
Are you
nowadays?
You're not strict. You do some weddings here and there though, still, don't you?
Yeah, I do weddings. I'm actually flying out to Oregon. I have 2 weddings in Oregon this year that I'm going out to help another DJ. So I'll be going to do that. I have a couple weddings in San Diego. I've gone to do weddings in Mexico.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of corporate, and the reason why, I'm getting these corporate gigs, not because I'm a great corporate marketer. It's because people. It's word of mouth. It's going crazy. So I got the contract for Pfizer about 5 years ago, and maybe even 6 now.
Pfizer
Pharmaceuticals. Yeah. So
you know that name now.
Girl shit.
I got it because their caterer went to one of my karaoke nights downtown and said, "This guy's awesome. He plays really good music. Can we have him as a DJ?" So I went out and did one of their luncheons. Well, they liked the music that I played during the luncheon so much, they said, "Cool, can you come do our fun run?" I said, "Sure, I can do your fun run." Then they said, "Hey, can you do our holiday party?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I could do your holiday party, you know." "Okay, we're going to need upstairs and downstairs." I'm like, "Well, that's going to be a little extra money." They're like, "Oh, we don't care. Like, whatever you want to charge us."
Yeah.
They're like, "This is the end of the year. We need to spend more money." They're like, "Is there anything else you can provide us?" And like, don't be afraid.
Corporates are so much fun for that reason.
I said, "I got a photo booth. I got this." And they said, "Cool, bring it all. Just charge us whatever." So
They're like, we just made $700 billion on a vaccine. We don't give a shit.
We need more. And they set budgets for the year. Like they set their entertainment budget, and they have to spend it by the end of the year. So at the end of the year, when the holiday have a big budget, they have to spend it. I remember. I wish I need corporate to come back. I miss it so much.
This is where I messed. Well, I didn't mess up, but it was learning. It was all part of learning. 6 years ago when I did their first event, I charged them $500. And I was nervous. I'm like, okay, I'm used to doing bars and restaurants. Here's a big corporate company. Okay, $500. Don't say no. Don't say no. Don't say no. Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started doing more with them and bringing the photo booth. Okay, bumped it up 1,000. 1,500. And then I did one of their big holiday parties, and I think I was at around $2,000 at that point, and they had a magician, and the magician came up and he's like, hey, can I put my briefcase behind your DJ facade? And I was like, sure. And at the end of the night, he came up, he's like, dude, great music. It was so much fun. We'll have to work together again. And I'm like, cool, man. He's like, yeah, these things pay great, huh? And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, dude. I roll in. I was like, just curious, because I had been there for hours. I'd run cables. I had run, everything. Grabbed his briefcase and I was just like, hey, just curious, like what do you charge them for this? And he's like, oh, $5,000. Yeah. I was like, you've been here for 2 hours. Briefcase, I was at that point. I was like, from now on, I'm 5,000 and up, for that.
Uh-huh.
So. Yeah, it's been great. They just called us back, so they're finally starting to do some events after COVID, because we reached out to them, and they're just like, we're too busy right now with the vaccine and all of that stuff. So, but they passed us on to other pharmaceutical companies. So we've been doing other corporate stuff for other Zyrtex, all these other
the printing, yeah.
And it's just growing. And that wasn't even for karaoke. That was just for DJing, because somebody was out at my karaoke night. I'm getting a lot of corporate stuff, including Disney, all of those stuff, simply because we offer karaoke, and they maybe want to have an hour of karaoke, or they want it to be an option. So, and they know I can handle like the DJ side of it too.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's cool, man. That karaoke adds just that perfect foot in the door.
I really do get that question all the time.
You remind me so much of how much I need to get back into like pushing for corporate again. I backed off so heavy. Like I had so much lined up for 2020 when it came to corporate, and then COVID happened and hit them all up in 21, and they were like, nah, we're not doing anything until this all dies down some more.
Well, I have a buddy that owns an entertainment company in LA, and he does a lot of corporate, and he's the one that got me the Disney stuff. But he doesn't have a karaoke guy. So he's been getting me a ton of these corporate gigs and all this stuff because I'm now his karaoke guy.
Right.
But like I said, he knows I can DJ too. So he pitches them DJing, karaoke, all of this stuff. And if it works out for karaoke, he calls me up. I drive down there and I do it. So, I mean, you guys could do the same thing. If you, like Rick, if you get a corporate gig, throw in karaoke, say, hey, we'll throw on karaoke for an extra blah, blah, blah. And you don't have to do it. Call me up. I'll come do it for you, like it's, and then it just works out, like you don't, or you find somebody in your market that does karaoke, and you don't have to necessarily do it yourself.
Yeah. I was talking to someone about that. They were asking me about my strategic partnerships I have. That would be a good one to find someone that does karaoke well. Like Eric's my photo booth.
I'm the photo booth and the roadie. Yeah, no, I mean, it's the reason we got into photo booths is the same thing that we're talking about. It was like someone would hit us up for a DJ, and they're like, oh, do you guys do photo booths? No. And they're like, oh, okay, we're going to get someone who does photo booths so we can buy it together. It was like, fuck, so we added photo booths, which I regret so much. I guess now we're deep into it, and whatever it is, what it is. But yeah, man, I don't know.
I like his idea of finding someone that does it. You just gotta find someone.
Yeah. You don't have to just do it. Yeah, just sub it. What the hell? I got a bottle of Zyrtec right here, by the way.
There we go. We just did their
I
holiday.
know. I've been down in so much. What is it? Sinus medicine, whatever.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do to get back all this corporate stuff, Rick?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna go find those emails from those people I was talking to.
Corporate events are definitely happening again here.
They are.
A lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if like I had Cone Health and a few other ones. I don't know if they're back doing them yet.
Matt did a Google thing. Whatever.
I've been so sidetracked with all the wedding
period.
demand.
We've done Sony PlayStation, we've done Google, we've done Southwest Airlines, Disney. I know I'm forgetting some other big ones. Conan O'Brien, for Comic-Con when he came, we did a big trivia event through him, all because we also did karaoke at that venue. So they were like, oh yeah, we got a guy that does trivia too. So it just, having all those options has opened so many doors for us. And most of these events, I mean, some of them, it's either all karaoke or it's maybe 3 or 4 karaoke songs, and then like I'm DJing, so it could go either way. Just in this last month, I had 2 very opposite. I did one for the American Jail Association. So it's a bunch of sheriffs and stuff and jailers from all over the United States all came together, and they just wanted karaoke. Like soon as they walked into the room, they're like signing up. And so we had a full on karaoke night. Plus they were dancing. I was playing in between, they were doing it was insane. And then we had another one where I walked in and I thought I was going to be doing karaoke, and I ended up doing their raffle. I ended up introducing their magician. I was introducing the president, I was the master of ceremonies. I was, we ended up doing 2 karaoke songs, and then they danced the whole night. So it just, you never know. But again, we wouldn't have gotten that contract if we hadn't have offered karaoke.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seems like a door opener. Let's see in the chat. Covered the gear.
Also, I'll be doing a karaoke night at Marquee here in a few weeks.
Are you just doing are you hosting the thing, or are you just
the opening night? Yeah, the opening night. I'm bringing my equipment. I'm doing the full it's the 13th. I'll be I'm not sure if they're gonna have somebody DJ right before me or not, kind of like the welcoming thing. Then I'm gonna do the welcoming party, like a welcoming speech, whatever, and then we're gonna go into karaoke, and it's gonna be just a karaoke dance party kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just gonna create a vibe in the room.
That's Monday night?
Yeah.
Cool. Are you doing it again at all through the week?
No, I wish. I think I might. I know there's a closing party that's going to be on a yacht that DJ Lance is putting together, and then he asked myself and Jordan Marshall to kind of DJ it. So I'm not sure if that's still happening. Last I heard, it is, but I'm pretty sure that's still good to go. He said he was going to make an advertisement for it, but I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, I wish that you weren't fucking doing it on Monday night. I'm not even going to be there until Tuesday morning. My plane I'm leaving Tuesday morning to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then on the 16th, I'm actually the last person going, and then my plane leaves like an hour after my seminar, so I gotta run off the stage and hop in a cab.
Oh wow.
Poor planning on my part, but it's this infant child calling me back, and I gotta really minimize as much as possible to go. Yeah. I didn't want to stick Rachel with him too much. Well, I do, but
I'm lucky now. Mine are self-sufficient, so for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are yours?
I have a 13-year-old and then 10-year-old twins.
Oh
Okay.
my.
Okay.
So they don't seem to kill each other. So we can leave them home and go, go out to dinner or something as long as we stay close by. And they're all into their games and their phones and this and that. So half the time they don't even know we're gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 10 and 13 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just 10 more years, Eric.
10 more years.
And we're almost there.
Wait, I always because he's 3 months old, and I was asking Rachel, I was like, so how old do they have to be before you can spank them? I was like, I'm not trying to spank my kid. I'm just curious. Like, at what point do they understand that? Because right now, he's obviously wouldn't even know what's going on. And we looked it up on Google, and apparently at 9 months old, they'll understand getting spanked. And I so anytime he does anything that pisses me off, I do the reverse math. I'll be like, oh, 4 months left. He's a trip, dude. Having a kid is a trip, that's for sure.
I'm good for now.
How much does it cost to add the karaoke element to a DJ set? I mean, apparently all you need is a TV and it depends on what you have.
Depends how you want to do your setup.
I like to have and this is not necessary, but I like to have a mixer, like a little Yamaha mixer that has its own channels. So maybe like a 4-channel mixer.
For the microphones.
Yeah, so you can, you always want to have your microphones independent, so you can. Karaoke, it's all about blending the music with the voice. You get people that are just all vocal, they're yelling into the microphone. You want to turn that down and turn the background music up. You get these people that are very soft spoken and you can't hear them. Turn their mic up, bring the background volume down. So that's it. Doesn't cost much. There's some microphones off. Yeah, do believe it or not, I've tried so many different microphones. I went out and bought the most expensive microphones. And I've bought the cheapest microphones, and I found some killer ones on Amazon right now that they're around not even $200. They feel heavy. They light up. You can't put them on individual different wave lengths or what is it, frequencies. They're all in the same frequency, so it kind of sucks if somebody else in your market is like downtown and somebody else is using those microphones. We haven't luckily ran into that situation except for ourselves. If we're too close, we're doing 2 venues that are too close to each other, we'll cross over.
Right.
We have 2 different, in that case, we'll give, this DJ a different brand of microphones and this DJ a different brand. But I prefer these ones, and they're like $190. You get 4 microphones. They feel heavy. They feel like a real professional microphone, and they sound like the best microphone I've used. I've gotten so many compliments on those microphones, and I'm like, they're so inexpensive.
Yeah.
I was about to ask if you use wireless or if you use wired.
I always use wireless.
Gotcha.
Now, I hate having people walk around with that cable, that cord dragging around and stuff. I've always used wireless. I've used to use Vocal Pros, and those were about $500 for a set of 4, and those are cool. But I really like these cheaper ones better.
How much GTD? The GTDs are what, 300 for 4?
Something like that.
Something like that.
What's the mic replacement ratio?
Not that bad. It used to be a lot worse. I mean, back in the day, man, I used to get people dropping the mic all the time, and I would lose my mind, but I think people are more aware these days. I don't see it as much. It used to be every couple of months somebody would drop the microphone. Now we'll go maybe once or twice a year. Somebody will do something, and but it definitely not as common.
Cool.
We're gonna finally get it.
So what is you don't have to tell me what you charge necessarily, but what are karaoke rates like for not for corporate events, because obviously that's totally different.
Just your normal weekly stuff.
Yeah.
So typically on the weekday, we won't, we'll stick around $250, $275, and that'll get you 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We'll fill a 3-hour time block. If and I'm gonna have to redo these prices because everything, especially here in California, everything.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Yeah, you can't even get a cup of coffee for $300 in California.
And it sucks because everybody's mind is still set in, like if you were to ask me how much milk is right now, I would probably still tell you what I remember it being as a kid.
Like $1,
Like
less than $1.
a couple of bucks. Yeah, a dollar. Dollar, $1.50, $2. But I don't buy the milk, so I don't know. My wife knows, but I don't know. So if I were to go to the store to get milk, I'd be like, holy crap, $5 for a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
That's the same mindset people have for karaoke and DJ services too. Is like, whoa, you want to charge $350 for karaoke? Like they're used to paying back. A few years ago, there's somebody downtown that would probably charge 150. So back in the day when we used to come in at 250, we were high. They saw the quality. So now, even though we're still 250, like when I go to bump that up, people are I know already I'm gonna get some backlash for that. People are gonna be like, oh, that's too expensive. Well, no, look at the price of gas. Look at the price of food. Like we gotta keep up. I gotta be able to guys and still make some money to survive.
Just send a big letter to everyone that states all of the reasons before you drop the price increase.
Yeah. But it's tricky. Most of our spots are 275 minimum, but a few spots we've been with long enough now that we've worked up to like 350. Some of them are even 400 for a karaoke night. Obviously those ones we go maybe like 4 hours, 4.5 hours and that's the reason why we've been able to jump it up. Some of them we offer multiple services, so we'll do an hour of trivia before karaoke, and that's a chance to charge $200 for trivia, and then $250 for karaoke, and cover like a 4-hour time period. And instead of making $300, we'll be making $400. Yeah. So there's ways to get a little, to. Like I've tricked bars before where they've called me in to cut the price. This was back in the day. I had a bar one time and they were like, hey, we're dropping all of our entertainment prices by $50. So I'm so sorry. We love your service and you guys crush it, but the owner wants to do it all across the board, even though your night is the night that makes us more money. And I'm like, okay, well, how about this? Instead of dropping us $50, why don't we come in an hour earlier and do trivia? And instead of charging you $250, I'll only charge you $200. So we'll take that $50. Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. So I went out there making, an extra $200 when they were supposed to cut me $50. It's just, it's all about tricking them that, or not even tricking them, but just, those little ways around it. And
yeah, because it's those places are just they have the owners at the high level that are just like, if we cut this X out of this area and out of this area and out of this area, we'll make X about much more to make up for whatever the hell they just missed out on or something like that, or they lost last quarter. And they don't think about they don't know the little fine details of like what actually makes them a lot of money and stuff like that. It's crazy. But it's definitely, I thought it was interesting just like the fact that you do like free nights on occasion for promotion, just because like it's something unheard of in like my company or Erik's company, because we're a lot of one-off clients in a way.
I actually when we started doing photo booths, I gave a couple photo booths for free just to get promo material together.
Yeah.
Which I later discovered you can literally just purchase on the internet. My mistake. However, at the time I didn't know that. You know what I mean? I even paid for a videographer and we had a whole video shoot and made a commercial for the photo booth, which was stupid expensive, and it was good, but
it's still the
one
best video on your website
since then is like 50 million times better, and it was a zillionth of the price. So but yeah, I mean that if I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff we've just learned by trial and error, what works, what doesn't work. And, trivia, I never thought, actually, I brought trivia in the first year I went to Mobile Beat. I came back from Mobile Beat super pumped. I was like, oh man, this is my first DJ conference. I'm like, Nadia, get ready, you know, like go get a new pair of shoes. We're gonna be we're gonna be rich, you know. Don't worry about it. Like let's do this thing. And so I was like, we're gonna bring in trivia, and I didn't want the trivia that I found at Mobile Beat. I was like, so I started researching different trivia, and I found this trivia that you could do on your phone, and that was being used in the UK, and it was only in the UK. But I was like, I can make this my own. You know, instead of having people use their phones, because back then batteries weren't, you know, that weren't lasting very long and all of that. People's phones were dying. So I bought Kindle Fire tablets. I waited for Amazon Day, bought a ton of them. I think I own like 100 of them now. And we used to bring like a case of 16 to a bar. And I bought this nice, like shiny metal. It looks like I'm a spy. Walk in with this case, pop it open, and it's full of electronics, you know, and I take people's ID cards and I would trade them for a tablet and provide them, instead of using their phone, now they get a tablet and they're all excited. They're like, oh, I get to take this back to my table. I'm like, yeah, that's your answer pad. And so we created a whole different trivia vibe that people weren't used to. And our trivia just took off. It added so much new revenue to our business. And it was such a great addition. And it just, you know, finding stuff like that to just get out of that box and make more money, like that you wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
It's great for us.
I can't believe you've been doing it since 2010, even if that was like the first year. How old were you?
36.
36. Okay, that's I mean, yeah. I feel like in 2010 I was like, what the fuck was I doing in 2010? Not shit. That's what I was doing. A whole lot of nothing.
I think I just picked up a DJ controller.
Rick was in second grade.
I was not in second grade, fucker.
Rick couldn't even.
I was a freshman in high school.
Shoes in 2010.
I was a freshman in high school. Just picked up a DJ controller, the Hercules 4-set.
I graduated high school in 2009. So yeah, I was doing nothing. Yeah, cool.
I graduated in 2003, and then it just took a few years to figure out, like, okay, I tried working for some companies and this and that, and I was just like, I don't know, man, I need to find something.
Yeah. It feels good to find something you like doing and go and just roll with it, you know, like, and if it's successful, then obviously that's great too. But just like, spinning your wheels fucking sucks, you know. Figuring it out, you found your trivia and your karaoke, and it just like clicked and you just took off, you know.
It's being like I don't know, like for so long trivia had karaoke had such a bad stigma to it, and still does in certain places, you know.
It definitely does.
So does karaoke in some areas too. To
the point where I've almost like not liked being called or introduced as the karaoke guy, you know. I just recently started embracing it, you know. Nadia has always told me, she's like, hey, look, just embrace it. Like, you're at a karaoke, you know, like, okay, like I can DJ too. Am I the best DJ? No, not even close, you know. I'm sure there's tons of DJs that blow me out of the water, but I'm super confident in karaoke. And so, you know, if I could be the best out of the best of karaoke, then I guess I should embrace it, you know, like, 'cause I do feel like I've only seen a few other karaoke, like guys or girls that can put out a show similar to ours. And it's just been recently, like in the past, not at all, but I think it's starting to catch on. I think people are starting to be like, okay, we can make karaoke cooler, you know. It's starting to get a little better, because I have seen some more cooler shows, whether it be on TikTok or, you know, some of these other social media things. But this one that I did the last week at Moonshine, it was by far the most craziest. They have like a sing, dance, crawl in San Diego that they do once a year, and it's for a charity. And I got to host the karaoke portion of this, and it was like you picture like a Vegas nightclub. It was like doing karaoke to like a Vegas nightclub. It was insane. Standing room only, people on both decks, all singing. You know, it was insane. I loved it.
That's awesome. Remind me, what's the name of your company?
Almost Famous Entertainment.
Yeah, that's right. Almost Famous Entertainment. So have you thought about franchising?
I have. I have a guy that wants the franchise actually in our Riverside branch. He's like, I want to really like run with this, and and I feel like he wants a piece, but I'm like, I got to figure out how to do that, and so I would love to franchise it. I have people that have been karaoke regulars and have since moved to other states that will still message me and be like, dude, they don't have anything like what we used to have in San Diego. Like, how can I start something out here? Like start an Almost Famous branch out here. And I'm like, I don't know. I definitely think that's something that I need to focus on.
Yeah. I was curious if you got that great of a brand or whatever, it's a great retirement plan down the line.
Yeah.
Franchise it out.
I mean, before COVID, that's why we bought a house an hour outside of San Diego, is because I just didn't need to be there all the time. We had such a great team and things were rolling so well that I was like, cool, you guys got this. I can step up. I was going to be a volunteer firefighter. Like I had all these plans, and then COVID hit, and it was like that whole thing crumbled. And so now we're building it back. I've had to jump in as we've been hiring on people and help with the training. And so I feel like I'm back and forth from San Diego way more than I planned on being. But we're getting there. We have a great, strong team now. We designated managers for each branch, and it's working out really well. So, but we're also keep growing. So it's one of those things that every time we get a new spot or something, I want to be there. Yeah. But that seems like that's happening every week. So I'm still constantly in it,
Hey, as long as you're enjoying it, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude. His karaoke show's the shit. It's fun, dude. It's funny because there's like what was that little fucking meme, me standing in the corner all emo with that. But I was having fun. That's me having fun. So when I'm not having fun, that's when it's scary. But it was good.
Yeah, that was fun. I
just remember you singing Shaggy specifically. I remember, you were singing the verse to It Wasn't Me, I guess, or maybe it was Angel or something. Yep. But it sounded like it. You'd have to be there, but I remember being like, what the fuck? I was like, this is crazy. Like, and normally I'm like, karaoke's fucking lame. Sorry, but like, it was so much fun. And so I stood against the wall.
Well, we still get that, man. It's funny. Like the Shaggy one is always, like, I love to pull that out at corporate parties or something like that when they're, when people aren't expecting it to have this like Jamaican, voice come out of me, they're just like, holy crap. Like, is that guy really singing like Shaggy?
It caught me off guard. That was what caught me so off guard.
I love it, man. I love those shocking moments. We'll have these singers. You never know what you're going to get with karaoke, but it's also how you play it. Now, if I'm sitting there and we have a bad singer and I'm sitting there going like, and I'm like, then just everybody gets uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to see that. Like, they're like, but if you're like, I always like, I'm super positive. I'm super like, even if they're horrible and butchering it, I'm like, great job, high five. They feel good. I feel good. And then boom, I'm hitting the crowd with energy right after that song's done. And then people's minds go, oh, I love this song. And then all of a sudden, you forget.
Right.
I was about to say, do you like, if they're doing bad, do you like encourage the crowd, like, come on, sing along or something, to drown it out a little bit?
I won't interrupt their song, but if there's like a musical break or something, I'll pull out my phone and I have this like little lighter app, and I'll light the lighter, and I'll raise it up like that and then get the whole crowd going with it, and it's creating that fun, safe vibe and people enjoy it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you do anything to try and make them sound better? Like, do you add a bunch of echo or reverb to their voice on occasion?
No, just believe it or not, dude, the karaoke people are some of the most biggest divas you'll ever run into.
Oh, really?
Like, luckily I'm downtown, like, so we get a revolving door of people, but I've been to spots outside of downtown, and we even have some in our Riverside branch, that are just like, people like their song a particular way, and if you mess with their voice at all, it doesn't matter if they suck, you're making them suck by messing with their voice. You know, it's just an outlet for them to blame you. So I don't mess with anybody's voice. I'm like, besides turning down the lows or the highs or, you know, something like that, I don't, or if they ask me to add some reverb to it or something, I'll add some echo to their voice if they're doing like a Phil Collins song or something. But for the most part, I leave that alone. I'm like, look, if you suck, that's on you. You can't blame me, because as soon as they don't hear a lot of people just believe they're really good. And even if they're really bad, they have it set in their mind. I've had tone deaf people get up there and just think they crushed it. And I mean, everybody in the bar, you know, they feel bad. So they're like clapping and high-fiving them. And it's great because they feel great about themselves. But there's been some that it's like, woo, you shouldn't have been up there.
Right.
So do you got any secrets or methods to finding your staff?
I hire a lot of people that I just like that come to my shows. Like most people with karaoke, they like when they become regulars, they don't see it as a job. They see it as fun. You know, like but that's the thing you got to tell them too. And this is where you find out like if they're up for it, because it's a whole different, you know, when you switch sides. I've had people that be like, yeah, you don't even have to pay me, man. I'm here already. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, you're not here as a guest to have fun. You're here to run the show.
Right.
Make sure everyone has fun.
Yeah. And so I've had people that just don't work out because of that reason. They're just like, oh, I have a much greater respect for you now that I've seen what you do. And I'm like, yeah, it's not easy. But a lot of times, like, yeah, just seeing people at your shows, you know, you can kind of tell off of body language. You can see how they interact with other people. I'll go up to somebody and I'll just be like, hey, have you ever thought of like hosting, you know, karaoke? Oh yeah, I would, you know, I would love to train you if you want to come out and check it out, or go out with one of our managers. And yeah, I'll give it a shot. I go to school and I have some free time in the nights, and we've had a great success rate with hiring within.
So what's a manager do? Like I'm always curious on the business side of like your kind of I don't know, like structure or what org chart of how it trickles down from owner to manager, and the manager handles this, and how that all works.
Well, because we provide all of the equipment, you know, there's a lot of like, we'll have technical issues, or, you know, we'll have something go on. And if I can't get there, or say here, I'm in Arizona, I know that Veronica, our San Diego manager, has it handled. You know, they're going to call her. She's going to walk them through, hey, you need to connect the TV this way, or you need to, you know, unplug it and plug it back in. You know, have you followed all these steps? And if something needs to be ran down to her, like a cable broke or something like that, she can go down and do that. Like, I wouldn't just ask one of my regular employees to do that unless it was an emergency.
So would she like stay unbooked for the most part at events just to be there and help out and move around?
So I pay her like a salary pretty much. So she knows what she's going to make every 2 weeks. You know, she has her and then she has her duties, you know, whether some weeks may be crazier than other weeks. But if she has to do some extra driving or some extra this or that, then we'll pay her more, or we'll cover it. But yeah, she's just kind of like our dedicated. Yeah, I leave her, and she also fills in. So if we have a spot where somebody gets sick and I'm not there, or, you know, then she'll fill in, but we leave her unbooked for the most part.
Then would that manager also do the bookings, like handling scheduling of the guys, and then do they also do any of like the new inquiry bookings, like trying to sell at all?
I haven't gotten there yet. I still handle all the sales and stuff like that. I mean, they know how much we charge and how much so if she runs into somebody out on the street and they're like, oh, we want karaoke, she could be like, cool, you know, it's $250 for 3 hours. You know, if that's something you're interested in, here's Chad's number, reach out to Chad, you know, and then they'll call me and I'll be like, oh, okay. So, but no, I leave that part I've still done myself. I have thought of like hiring on a sales manager or something like that to help, but I just don't know if it's necessary yet. Like, I feel like then I won't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Man, that sucks.
I got to stay involved somehow, or else, you know, people will be like, it's still weird when I'll go downtown San Diego and, you know, some of these venues I haven't been in in weeks, I'll walk in, or months, and they won't even know who I am. Like I'll go in, and we've been doing karaoke there for months, and just like, who are you? And I'm like,
I own that company.
here's my ID. I work with the karaoke company. Oh, okay, go ahead.
I just work with them. That's funny.
Yeah. No, I try not to throw it around too much. Like downtown has changed a lot. I used to know everybody, man. I still know a lot of people, but it's crazy how many new faces. It's like all these spots after COVID have just like
they lost everything, rebuilding.
Yeah, so it's an interesting time, but I like to keep involved, keep in the business.
Cool. Nothing but good times though to come, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Tons of busyness. But I know you're trying to get to the bars and get out of here and have some fun time.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's getting darker as.
Yeah, I know. I keep seeing your room get darker and darker and darker.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll see you in 2 weeks, my friend.
Looking forward to it. We're gonna have some fun at Marquee, even though you're coming late.
Yeah. Morning of.
Are you coming?
I'm not going to Marquee. No.
Okay.
I got enough going on right here. When is Marquee? Next week?
June 14th.
Well, June 14th it starts. My thing is June 13th. That's the important day.
Right, my bad. It's only June 13th, actually.
I forget why I decided.
No other days. Well, wrap it up, Rick. Let's go.
I was looking to see why I remember someone asked me about going to Marquee, and I was just like, I looked and it's just not going to work with my schedule. I think it's just too early on in the year right now. I got too much going on. Trying to get through the spring madness. But anyways, yeah, Erik wants me to wrap it up. Anyways, Chad, where can people find you, hit up you? Where do you want people to interact with you?
So, best place for me, I'm trying to transition over into Instagram. I've been doing a lot more Instagram stories. I still haven't figured out that whole messaging thing on Instagram where you have your general and your primary mailbox and all of that. So Facebook Messenger, always easy. You could call me, text me. My number's pretty much on my website, almostfamoussd.com. You can find my cell phone number. Yeah, call me, text me. Hit me up at Marquee, whatever, I'm always happy to help and spread some karaoke trivia, midweek money knowledge if I can.
Cool. I think you gave a lot of nuggets for people out there today, especially thinking of karaoke in a different way too, which is awesome. But anyways, it was a pleasure having you on, Erik. Pleasure having you on as a Zoom guest.
I'll see you next week, Rick.
We don't have one next week, remember?
It's 2 weeks. We'll get dinner then.
Yeah, we'll get dinner or something. Actually, speaking of which, Christine definitely wants to have dinner with you and Rachel sometime. She made that a priority for me to mention to you because you weren't going to be here today. Anyways, good thing to put up. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, follow the podcast. We will catch up on audio versions of the podcast on all those different sources, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all those different things in the coming weeks. But anyways, guys, appreciate everyone tuning in, everyone that's listening after the fact. Chad, thank you so much for having you guys on, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks with the next one. Peace.
Thanks for having me, guys.